Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is the next video in the mock interview series with UiPath Aspirant, where I am taking mock interviews for candidate as per their expertise. For each of the question, there is a question number which is mentioned on the slide. In case you are aware of the answer, feel free to pause the video and answer the question in the comments. There are other mock interviews available on the same playlist. I have provided the link in the description where you can find mock interviews of different experience. In case you also want to appear for such mock interview, all you have to do is just drop me an email ID which is mentioned in the description as well as on the slide. A quick note before we get started, this is just a mock interview and not for any of the company or any of the job opportunity. In case coming to the channel for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get the latest update. Having said that, let's get started. I hope I am audible. I have received your resume for the mock interview. Okay, so today we are going to conduct the mock interview. Let us see that what should be the format. Okay, first I'll ask you some of the question based on your resume. You are going to answer
Okay.
that. All of the questions whichever you have answered incorrectly, I'll answer those questions at the end of the interview. And I'll also tell you that what are the topics that you need to study and where you need to improve upon. Sounds good?
Okay, bro. Okay, good.
Okay, fine. Why don't you start by introducing yourself?
Okay. Actually, this is from Hyderabad, Telangana.
Mm-hmm.
So I have completed my post-graduation degree with MBA in IT sector.
Mm-hmm.
So coming to my graduation, I have completed BBA in Hyderabad itself.
Mm-hmm.
So coming to my interest, I used to play football in my free time. So I
Okay.
was the one of the gold medalist from the
Mm-hmm.
in inter-college sports meet. Languages known by me are Telugu, Hindi, and English. A little bit I can manage Tamil also.
Okay. 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 So you have worked on UiPath. Okay. And if I ask you how
Yeah.
many projects have you completed in UiPath?
It was two actually.
Okay. You have automated 2 processes. Okay. And what is
Yeah,
the
the
status of the
both
project?
both are on the deployed. The both the projects are deployed actually.
Okay. So you have created 2 robots and both are in production, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now talk me about talk me through any of the project out of the 2 which you are comfortable talking about. Talk me through what was the problem statement, how did you automate it, and then I can ask you the questions.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Oh, actually, I want to talk with the project which I have done was taxation bot, which I used in real time,
Mm-hmm.
and I have kept keen interest on working on that also.
Okay.
The taxation bot is a thing where I have worked under a chartered accountant, where
Mm-hmm.
we used to get the mails of some of the customers who are having IT returns. So
Okay.
in every year of April, they used to ask for IT returns, like biggest industrialist or everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So where we use it to scrap it by using data scraping, we use it to extract the data from the given chartered accountant website, and we use it to paste in another PDF file, like converting a PDF into Excel.
Mm-hmm.
And we use it to send the recordings by using email automation, where in bulk we use it to send the emails for different customers. Like it was sending for everyone, it is hard for a company. Like a person like chartered accountant, it is very tough job to keep 10 to 15 employees as a
Mm-hmm.
they have opted for the RPA role.
Okay.
So by using the array variable, we have automated the email by dynamic mail system.
Mm-hmm.
We use it to send to different type of customers at the end of the years. And in keeping in this mind, we have also developed that auditing bot also in between.
Okay. So you have a process where you are reading the emails. In the emails, you have got PDFs. From the PDF, you scrape the data. You put the data in the
Mhm.
Excel, and then that's it, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we use it to send dynamic mails.
Okay, fine. I understood the process. Now, which activity in UiPath have you used to read the emails?
Oh, read data,
Read data.
read range, sorry,
Read
emails.
range.
Sorry, email, sorry. Where we use it to SMTP mail.
SMTP. Okay, so
Yeah.
you are reading the emails from which it is it Outlook or is it Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail? What
No,
it is?
it's actually Gmail.
Okay, so you are using Gmail to read the, and you have used the
Data.
send SMTP, right?
Yeah,
Now,
send SMD.
what are the prerequisite to send an email from send SMTP? What are the things that you require?
Thing is that IMAP we use it to extract the attachment which we have got from the mails.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Then we have stored it in a one of the variable
Mm-hmm.
by using the SMTP project,
No, no,
entering
no.
the
So
port and
what are the prerequisite, means what are the properties that are mandatory for reading an email from the Gmail, right? So there are certain properties which we require. What are those properties?
properties are like that. We have to read the subject and in IMAP process asking now, and we
What
have
is an
sending
which activity in UiPath? What is the activity which you are using?
IMAP.
The activity name is IMAP.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, so to read any of the email, you would require the user ID and the password also, right?
Yes. Yes.
So for example, your CA, whichever you are working, so CA would need to provide you the user ID and the password, right? So where would the robot get the user ID and the password?
Actually, they have sent through Excel sheets
Okay, so user
by
ID and the password.
encrypted.
Sorry.
Yeah, by inscription they use it to give us the company's mail ID itself. For because the ITs are the secure things. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one.
So how would the robot get the user ID and the password? That is the question.
In properties, by set a password because password is the very secure thing. So
Mm-hmm.
we use the activity called set password. To secure that, we would giving another any different type of object, and we are securing the password in set password activity.
Set password activity.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So you have got the activity in set password and all. Okay. Now I have a counter question. Now let's say your password expires after 3 months.
Yeah. Okay.
What happens now then to the robot?
After expiring, yeah, we use it. I think we have to again update the password actually.
And how would you update it? Because you have passed the password in the activity, right? In the IMAP. So how would
Yeah.
you
Okay.
update it inside the code?
Just going through the properties in the place where we have enter the password, we have to replace there itself, because changing the total data it is impossible. Just
Mhm.
in the place of set password we have used the another activity to secure the password, no? There
Okay,
we
so
have to
that
update
means
the password.
every time whenever the password is changing, you need to redeploy the robot.
Oh yeah.
Okay, okay, fine, no problem. Okay, so you have read the emails and everything now. From the email, you are getting the
Okay.
PDF as attachment, right? I have 5
Yeah, yeah.
PDFs as attachment. Which activity I will use to save the PDF into the folder?
Yeah, saving the attachment.
Uh-huh.
Below we have the highlighted thing that to save the attachment we have to create a folder inside the XAML file.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to store the data there only by giving a variable or argument also we can give, because we can use the process in different workflow also.
No, but which activity I am using?
Yeah, save SMT attachment.
Save attachment, right? Okay. So save
Yeah.
attachment would expect you the name of the folder, that where do you want to store, right? So
Yes.
for example, your CA is working on a computer. Okay. So you are telling
Okay.
that the robot should store the file in D colon data. Okay. D drive and a data
Okay.
folder. Now your
Okay.
CA shift to a new computer. He go to market and he buys a new computer. Now in that
Okay.
computer, there is no D drive.
Okay.
Now what happens to the process?
Oh, so we have to update everything from starting onwards again.
Okay, so that means again there would be a redeployment which would happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now before I continue, is this an attended robot or is it an unattended robot?
Oh, depends on the situation, because mostly we have triggered the bot to attendant robot itself, because we have triggering it in once a year. Na?
So whichever robot you have created, is it an attended or is it unattended robot?
Yeah, it is attendant itself. But for auditing, we use it to make it as an attendant, because when we get a request, we use
Mhm.
it to trigger the bot. In yearly once, they were asking the ITR,
Okay, okay,
so it is
fine.
attendant bot itself.
Hmm. Okay, now you say that you have got the PDF, and the PDF there is a lot of data and you are doing a data scraping, right? So
Yes,
how do you scrape the data out of the PDF?
by using data scraping.
Data scraping. Okay, fine.
Yes.
So what is the output of the data scraping? When you do the data scraping, what is the output? Is it a
Means
string? Is it a integer?
yeah, it is string, yeah, of course.
Okay, it is a string data, right? Okay, but
Yeah,
let's say in the PDF, I am having phone number also.
yeah, okay.
Then what happens?
Yeah, string itself in PDF, we I mostly use the string processing.
Okay, so you are doing data scraping and you are getting the string.
Yeah,
Okay, so you have got the data scraping and then you have to write the string to the Excel, right?
yeah.
Which
Okay.
activity in UiPath are you using to write the data to the Excel?
Mean after scraping the
Hmm.
data, we
Hmm.
have to save that thing in Excel.
All right, which activity I am using?
Yeah, yeah, right range.
Right range. Okay, so what would the right range expect? Right range. So right range will ask you two things, right? It will ask you that where do you want to save the Excel
Store.
and store the
Yeah.
Excel, and then what else?
In which format we have to save, like a variable format.
So what would the right range expect? It would expect a data table, right?
Yeah, system dot data table.
Hmm. But now you have got a string from the data scraping.
Yeah,
How
okay.
would you
Generics
convert
we
that?
have to use.
Sorry.
System dot generics we have to use.
Okay. So how would you convert that system dot generic to data table? Because right range will require a data table, right?
Yeah, okay.
So how would you convert that generic to data table?
By selecting the different variable from the uh, available things.
That is okay, but how would you change it? How you need to convert the data, right? How would you convert it?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Out. There is another activity in between.
Mhm.
Mm, output data table, I think so.
Can you tell me what does the output data table activity does?
It converts the data into the string format actually.
Mhm.
Whenever we get a different types of data like integer or a string format, it converts the thing into a data table into string format.
Okay, fine. But you have to convert string to data table, right?
Yeah, yeah.
How do you do it?
Oh, oh, sorry, to say that, but there is some activity I was not getting in the mind.
Okay, no
There is
problem.
a one type of activity which converts the thing into the string format.
Okay. So while doing this process, right, what are the kind of exceptions which you have handled?
Exceptions, because partially I have developed the bot,
Mhm.
like excellent email automation. Up to the thing I have done on that. I have
Okay.
involved in
Hmm.
real time.
In your resume, you have mentioned
Yeah,
that you have design and development of the workflow and handling various phases of application development, right? Now you tell
yeah, yeah.
me what are the various phases of a robot development or this application development? Which all phases you were involved?
Various phases of application development or UiPath.
You have mentioned in your resume, right? You have been in the various phases of application development. So what are those various phases which you were involved?
Various phases. I think it was UiPath development itself.
It's your resume.
Uh,
I'm
yeah,
just reading through your
like
resume. Yeah. So what are the different
yeah,
phases which you are involved?
uh, Yeah, that was framing before going to the project. We have a requirement of the market
Mm-hmm.
and discussing on the subject, and afterwards like what we say,
Mm-hmm.
framework. We have started with the PPT presentation framework, then
Okay.
after front end development, then after testing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
uh,
Hmm. Fine. So, last question, or I would say second last question. So, how do you deploy the robot? How do you deploy? How have you deployed this tax robot, whichever you were talking, right? How have you deployed this robot?
yeah, whole the process is converted into the package by option we will get in the UiPath Studio itself.
Mm-hmm.
So after getting that, we will be adding the package in the queue in orchestrator.
Okay.
Queue, we can deploy the project in orchestrator, and there we have different types of processes. After adding that into the queue,
Q.
we will be queues.
Mm-hmm.
So we can deploy like converting it in the package.
So you are not using transaction process, right? You are not using RE framework. So how would you put the nugget in the queue? So queues is a different concept, right? How would you put this thing in a queue?
By converting it in the package and both the attaching the both the orchestrator and UiPath
Okay. Okay.
server by connecting it into the server of orchestrator.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Can you tell me the difference between a basic recording and a desktop recording?
Yeah, basic recording is that the activities which we are doing on any other application, web recording, or those things come under basic.
Mm-hmm.
So desktop recording is that we can uh, make recording of the desktop shortcuts.
Okay. Okay. So any other difference between basic and desktop?
No, just we can access to the shortcuts which we have on desktop by
Okay.
recording activity.
Okay. What is the difference between a full and a partial selector?
Full selector is where full and partial selector.
Mm-hmm.
So full selector, we will be getting the actual position of the thing which we are giving, which we can select by in a red color box.
Mm-hmm.
So partial selector is that just we are just giving the anchor.
Okay. Partial selector is just giving the anchor. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. So do you know what are how many kind of wildcards I can have in UiPath?
Oh, no, wildcard. I don't.
Okay, fine. Okay, I have one
Okay.
Excel in a folder. Okay. How do I
Okay.
read that Excel?
By making an array variable, I think.
Okay. So, and to read the Excel, which activity I will use?
Read range.
Okay. So when you talk about read range, there are two read range which are available, right?
Yeah, it is workbook, and one of the thing is Excel read range, which
Okay.
we
So,
have having an application in system.
so what is the difference between them?
Excel is that Excel read data is that when we use it to perform the activity by in within the Excel itself, so we
Mm-hmm.
can use a Excel read range. For
Okay.
workbook read range, which we have got in different types of uh, applications, or which we are going to save in this folder, so we
Mm-hmm.
can use the workbook read range activity.
Okay. Okay. So have you, do you have any knowledge on robotics enterprise framework, RE framework?
No, no, RE framework I haven't used that.
Okay. So have you heard about RE framework?
Yeah, I have heard, but I don't have any sound knowledge on it.
Okay. Okay. So some questions from orchestrator. How many kinds of assets I can have in orchestrator?
So it's uh, air-
No problem. Okay. Can you tell me how many kind of workflows I can have in UiPath?
one of the thing is sequence.
Okay.
Next
What
is
else?
flowchart.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Third thing is state machine.
Okay. Sequence, flowchart, and state machines. Okay. And there is one more which is called the global exception handler. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. So what is the difference between a variable and a argument?
So variable is the thing. Both of the things, the common thing in variable and argument is where we use to store the data.
Mhm.
But for a variable, we can use the variable within the process only.
Mhm.
So argument we can use in different workflows also by creating an argument. In that we can have in out and in out. So we can use in this workflow and it can be effective in another workflow also. So one time we are creating, we can use it in any other workflow.
Okay. Okay, got it. Yeah, so that is it from my side. Okay, I am
Mm.
done with all of my questions. Okay, thank you for appearing. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll come to your question in a moment, but before that, I want to give you the questions whichever you have answered me correctly. Okay, so first of
Yeah.
all, you have answered me the question, what are the kinds of workflow? That is correct. You have answered me correctly. The
Okay.
project explanation was good, but can be improved.
Okay.
Okay, send SMTP
Okay.
you have given me correctly, and right range and this variable argument questions you have answered me correctly. Okay, now
Okay.
coming to the questions which you answered me absolutely wrong, right? So first of all,
Okay.
passwords cannot be stored in Excel, right? Even if you encrypt
Okay.
it, so all the passwords are stored in where do you store the password? Have you
Oh, in
heard of
assets.
credential assets?
Yeah, assets. Assets. Sorry, I was panicked at the situation. Just now it has been struck to me.
Hmm, right. Okay, now uh, so that is one thing. Right now, whenever the password is changing, you are saying that you are going to use an activity which is called set password. So see, when the password is there now, to update the password, do you think that do I need to every time rerun the code again and redeploy the code whenever there is a password update happening?
No, no.
Right, because the password is stored in the orchestrator credential. Whenever there is an
Yeah.
update of the password happening, I just go to the orchestrator and update the password, right? I do not need to retouch the code, right? So that
Yeah.
question you have answered me incorrectly, right? Now
Okay.
I have asked you that where do you store the file name and all these things, right? So ideally, whenever we do
Okay.
any kind of project, we maintain something which is called a configuration file. Okay. Since
Okay.
you are not aware of the robotics enterprise framework, that is why you don't understand the concept of configs also, right? So ideally,
Okay.
all of this folder path, all of this credential name, everything should be coming either from a orchestrator asset or it should be coming from a config. It should not happen if the tomorrow the client changes his computer, your automation fails, right? Everything should be kept
Okay.
configurable, right?
Okay.
Now, the next thing, whenever you say that you are scraping the data, right? So data scraping will give you a data table. It won't give you string,
Okay.
right? Data scraping will give you a data table. That is why you are able to write the data directly to the data table. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Apart from this, I have asked you some of the very basics question of UiPath and you have answered me absolutely wrong.
Okay.
Okay. So your preparation is not up to the mark. You should be aware of basic versus desktop recording. Okay. So basic recording will give you a full selector. Desktop recording will give you a partial selector. What do you mean by full
Okay.
and a partial selector? Full selector will have the parent window at the top. Partial selector would have the parent window only once and it will give you a all the so full selector will have the parent window for each and everything. Partial selector will only have the parent window one. It will create a container and then it will embed all the selectors. So that is the primary difference, right? Basic
Okay.
basic desktop full selector partial selector, these are the very basics of UiPath, right? There are two read range. One is Excel application and other is the
And
normal read
workbook.
range, right? Workbook.
Yeah.
The major difference is that Excel application scope would work only if Excel is installed on the computer, right?
Yeah.
Apart from that, everything we can do it from both the activities. There is no such difference. I ask you a
Oh,
simple question that how many kinds of assets you have, right? You do not know that there are four kind of assets: integer, string, boolean, and credential, right? So this is
Yeah.
the very basic question, right?
Yeah, I
G-level,
have thought that was queue where the machine is started, abandoned. So I was confusing in between this.
Now, a
Okay.
question to you. Do you think you answered me the question correctly?
No, up to the mark I have not reached till the
Okay.
interview.
So do you think if it is a live interview, you would have been got selected,
No, perfectly no.
right? So that is the first thing, right? So that means that you are not, your preparation needs more improvement. Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
okay.
how can you improve? To improve it, the first thing you should go back to UiPath Academy and complete the developer foundation.
Okay.
Okay, there is a course of UiPath Developer Foundation, right? I think you have just skipped the courses and just move forward and skipped it, right? Go back,
Yeah.
read all the courses one by one. At the end of the courses, you have practice exercises, practice all of them. Okay,
Yeah,
then jump to
okay.
the next section. Your basics
Okay.
are not clear because you have not taken the Academy Foundation course very seriously. For all of this basic, desktop, partial, all the questions whichever I ask you, right, all of these are covered in my channel, in my videos also. I will
Yeah, I
share you
was
the links,
watching
you can
on.
refer those. But I would say before watching them, go back to the developer foundation and complete the developer foundation, right?
Yeah,
I
okay.
ask you 2 times about exception handling, right? If you complete the developer foundation, you should know that the activities are try, catch, through, finally, re-through, right? So these are the
Okay.
basic question which you were, and I have not asked anything advanced. Go back, complete your learnings, which is the first thing is UiPath Developer Foundation. The second course is UiPath Orchestrator, right? These two
Okay.
are the must for you. You should be very much thorough of this, and whatever project you have mentioned, right? Go back to that
Oh,
project and see that which activity you have used. When I'm
yeah.
asking you, are not able to give me the activities also.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so these are the things you need to work upon now. Fine.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you very much.
Bye. Okay, so I would like to wrap this video here. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video insightful. In case you also want to appear for such mock interview, all you have to do is just drop me an email. If you like this video, please do subscribe to the channel and happy automation.